Today on the show, ideas about big data, how to make sense of it, and how it's transforming the way we live,
how we work, and how we think.
But the thing is, as the technology advances, what used to be advertising does turn into this kind of laboratory setup for behavior modification.
Built on harvesting tons and tons of human behavior and insight. And
the way these schemes work is that their fuel is data.
Fueled by what we now know to be fake news.
big data.
Their information operations.
Human data.
It's everywhere we go.
It's every aspect of living.
It's not an easy mission at all.
It has a kind of an unrelenting, robotic, and simplistic quality.
Whether it has to do with some kind of right brain resonance, whether it has to do with the way attention is mobilized,
They should have been on 24 hours surveillance.
whether it has to do with the consequences of being with a person as opposed to being with an algorithm.
A social enterprise that aims to connect people.
To create these algorithms that decide where drones should strike.
It's a consumer habit that needs to be changed. But
Essentially, it's referring to governments and groups, various organizations who it says are attempting to sway the discussion.
And it's a telescope that uses big data.
But it's also the same machinery that lets us imagine the future.
and building the algorithms.
And sure, we all kind of know this is going on, but increasingly, we don't have to understand it.
That the police may use big data for their purposes.
Whether it's advertising, YouTube videos, or the search mechanisms.
Will show that they have aggressive thoughts, moral choice, human volition, human agency.
Suddenly a light bulb went off for someone and they thought, wait a second, this could be really, really helpful.
Suddenly, we can learn new things that we never could before.
Like sexual preferences.
Our locations are tracked. If we walk by, surveillance cameras.
Their Fitbit,
If you are on a website, anything that you do on that website being tracked.
whether they're up late at night,
If we get in a car that has a GPS,
their web surfing behavior.
being tracked. The apps that we use are being tracked.
And we would be a stupid society if we didn't get these benefits.
Being tracked.
And the idea is that if we take a lot of data, for example, where past crimes have been, we know where to send the patrols.
If you have any kind of medical device being tracked, there's a camera being tracked.
that using this data in combination with methods derived from behavioral science that are targeting people's underlying motivations, their emotions,
Billions of dollars worth of investment is in the pipeline.
often unconsciously, so people don't know that they're being targeted, they don't know that they're being emotionally manipulated.
To improve Wi-Fi networks and digital literacy.
There are so many different bits of information. They're being collected by so many different companies.
All these companies, the 5 we're talking about and others, are competing for the largest troves of data about us.
They gain those insights by observing our transactions as we go through our lives.
To have very highly detailed psychographic portraits of every individual.
When it's able to identify biochemistries,
And combine it into this large file spanning across multiple domains.
And how they cross it, why they cross it, what leads them to cross it, and in what time frame do they cross
They
it.
can even assemble those traits into a biologically accurate human
That
face.
describes millions of individual users.
It's giving precedence and prominence to its own.
Making the prospect of 100% cashless economy.
As Wall Street investors have gotten more and more eager to get their hands on new kinds of data, more and more companies have started selling.
You've got to say we're a bit like paleontologists. On a dig, we uncover different aspects.
privacy was the central challenge in a small data era. In the big data age, the challenge will be safeguarding free will.
But it also removes human responsibility.
It's sheer negligence.
We may have algorithms that are likely to predict what we are about to do, and we may be held accountable before we've actually acted.
Algorithms naturally start to push things that create negative feelings.
I think we're talking about it right now in terms of data and the most valuable form of data in the economy, which is consumer profiles.
And by examining what is common among them.
And very often this business is run by algorithms that are trying to keep people.
And it has a perverse effect of taking one person's positivity and turning it into another person's negativity.
I mean, this will affect
any organization, for example, that hasn't applied the relevant security updates, that isn't using sort of segmentation of the network to prevent its spread across their system.
But if you say, oh no, it's the electronic brain that's responsible, then you're removing the responsibility.
And, you know, you have to say that YouTube is within its rights to remove violent content like this.
And all of this information can be gleaned from something as seemingly innocent as your music playlist.
And so there are algorithms that create engagement. It involves not perfect reward in response to behavior, but imperfect.
Predictive policing or algorithmic criminology.
That can buy the data from credit card companies, from entertainment companies, from online web browsing and web searching platforms or applications.
With an agenda. And
when you talk about tracking
with computers, you could have some sort of a constant monitoring of a person that would give them perhaps slight rewards and punishment and would gradually change their behavior, and the person wouldn't even know.
You get the feeling that you're really in a place.
Indistinguishable from reality.
We'll see a world where we can erase online memories.
As one person's job is displaced by AI.
That makes sense.
AI creating apps on their own.
And then this data is being sold.
Giving life, a little hard sliding now.
And it does just do that, does it? Track rather than protect.
Goodness gracious, what an awful threat that Britain is facing, given that even people like this don't quite make it onto the radar.
Because we're now talking about, again, life and death.
So this is driving us to new technologies and new telescopes. Telescopes that can go faint to look at the distant universe, but also telescopes that can go wide to capture the data at this scale as rapidly as possible.
Now, this is the case, for instance, when it comes to credit card companies. They see themselves as consumer insight companies.
Trying to get somebody to think a certain way.
It is a daily, hourly, minute by minute defense. It is, I don't want to use the hyperbole of this is war, but it really is for those of us who've been working in information governance for decades.
YouTube will look like a small hard drive of a kid.
We'd say this is not a surprise. It's been a cat and mouse or a cops and robbers game for many, many years.
To sway people's political opinions based on what they're reading, and what they're reading is this so-called fake news.
Machine learning software that basically detects quote-unquote objectionable material and then reports it.
Machine learning fake news.
Using the same technology you find in the cameras in your cell phone.
Machines ultimately able to think for themselves.
We are starting to digitalize life.
Technology is doing that for us.
And on the battlefield.
This is a critical point. They need access to more technology.
It's a little bit like somebody picking up a baseball bat. They could go play a game of baseball with it, but equally they could hit you around the head with it.
And the pace of change is accelerating.
Because she realized that technology and education had combined to create a lot of potential knowledge workers.
If you're not paying for the service, you are the product.
Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence, which itself is a branch of computer science.
System for lifelong learning, where you really learn your entire life. In order to let them take advantage of the opportunities that are out there.
We've built an AI technology built upon one of the largest data warehouses of human body measurements.
Well, how do you capture an image at this scale? Well, you build the largest digital camera in history.
To reach people on their personal devices.
Now imagine
in real time, in real place.
And there you find some interesting things taking place.
in the future.
Because I think that's the goal those technologies try to achieve. To be able to fully simulate what is currently taking place on screens and video sessions.
Where people are walking around with virtual reality glasses, and now it's not just something that they read, but it's actually what they are experiencing, what they are seeing.
Virtual reality
is fake news.
So we are maybe not even the halfway stage of evolution, and indeed one can strengthen that statement by saying that future evolution won't take place on the slow time scale of Darwinian selection. It'll happen on a technological time scale. It may only take a few centuries.
What's great about it is when we think about the ability, for example, to sequence the human genome, or to look at the universe, or the ways in which we could use data to
work out ways to improve the quality of digitally enabled government services, taking ideas from the private sector.
They have to create the chart.
To really analyze why people are joining these groups.
They are starting to react to the severe problems related to, several parts of their business.
So that people can rely on them.
As we continue to automate the ways in which we make these decisions.
So we take the real face of a subject.
And the stimuli are calculated by algorithms and optimized to change what the person does.
Using a 3D printer, we printed that same structure.
Each person is being monitored, and each person receives individualized stimuli.
And so this really allows us to even learn things about how the cells actually move in humans versus, for instance, in rodents.
Look at epidemics and the spread of disease, or even the spread of ideas.
So ultimately, things, if they're deemed objectionable by the machine, they cannot salvage everything.
Which means that Facebook is deciding what you read and what you don't read.
The tool that was used was words.
A toxic environment inconsistent with human life.
Well, I completely agree.
Maybe the only way you're going to see less fake news in spaces like Facebook is if you
are in a way a biological representation of an underlying set of rules.
Bonnie imagines walking around with glasses that change the world in front of our eyes and make it something orchestrated.
If people trust these companies,
Kind of like if you put a rat in a laboratory experiment, and every time the rat does a certain behavior, it gets rewarded or punished. And so if you just do that enough, you change the behavior.
Correct. So I like using the term cultured meat. Basically, we take a small, harmless biopsy from thousands of different kinds of
patient cells and really start to see whether there's anything that goes wrong.
What I'm saying though is that we can't necessarily say from this that it's designed by a government to do a dry run.
Wait, so they added fake blood?
None of what's happened is really all that much of a surprise.
We build these systems
that veer in the direction of censorship and picking winners.
If you like, or a test run. It seems much more likely that if somebody is actually developing something for a targeted attack.
It really can go either way.
It's a little complicated.
Right, and what you've made in the dish, is it able to grow?
Out of fake fish.
no, I never thought it was something for me. I mean, if there was more work involved, then I might think about it.
How do you monitor what they're actually doing?
In the digital cameras you can buy in the high street, but now at a scale that's 5.5 feet across, about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
We love capitalism.
And this is, I think, what makes this conversation so important.
And digitizing life, understanding the data that makes up our genome, means that we can
see popping like a bag of popcorn.
See, I don't think AI is a real thing, but I think the belief in AI is an existential threat to our civilization.
And there's this rabbit hole, and the algorithms have figured out
ATTCTTGATT. This human is lucky.
The former head of counterterrorism at MI6 and is now a director at the Global Strategy Network.
And the idea was that if you're on Twitter, if one of the people that you follow tweets something to the effect that they're depressed or they feel hopeless, that it would send you an alert. And the alert would say, your friend so-and-so is having a rough day today, you might want to reach out to them and see if they're okay.
Tech companies are ambitiously moving forward at breathtaking speed, skipping the use of debit cards and moving straight from cash to mobile.
Life's already a complicated place. If you're going to be nervous about all of these features of living that are just going to be underneath the surface as the fabric of how things happen, life is going to become paralyzing.
Work that seems the most difficult, and so the most likely to kill their project.
Companies could get a tax break. Workers, for their part, could also get a tax break for robust dividends.
It actually turns out that if there's a slightly scattered reward system, people become more addictive.
Are there certain cellular features that make human cells unique?
That makes VR something you appreciate as a rare, special, wonderful thing, a special piece of art.
That the decisions that we will take in the next year will change the course of history forever.
So, is it even possible to opt out of any of this?
I don't think you can.
Being mad at Facebook about all of this would be like being mad at the weather.
So these things have an enormous amount of influence, more than any other government, over people's daily thoughts and beliefs. So
you can engage someone, but a way to engage someone
is to pull them deeper into something. And that's because it leads to vigilantism.
But the other great promise of a model like this is that you can
egg on a mob to take justice into their own hands.
With the rise of made-up news stories on the internet,
it's because this problem is underneath all other problems.
If one NSA discovers a vulnerability in something like Microsoft Windows.
But in that case, we basically reinvent ourselves daily with the new memories that we form.
One of my favorite things about virtual reality is it makes you see reality better.
Then attacks are going to occur on U.S. infrastructure using that vulnerability.
As a means to persuade people to do things.
And not only that, speaking of manipulation, you are now so beholden to that news source, you're so into